Next, we want to factor this example of x minus 2 plus 2 minus x. So in our previous example, we had a common term that we could factor out of each portion. But as we can see, we have no common terms in both of these portions. So that means there is no greatest common factor and there is nothing that we can factor out. So that means we're going to have to go through our distribution laws. We're going to have to multiply this x by everything inside the brackets. So x times x is x squared, and then x times negative 2 is negative 2x. And then because we're just adding on this next set of brackets, we can get rid of the brackets around this 2 minus x, and we're just left with positive 2 minus x. Now we want to combine together like terms. So our like terms are terms with the same variable. So that would just be negative 2x and negative x. So when we combine those together, we'll get x squared, and then we add our coefficients of negative 2 minus 1 to give us negative 3x, and then plus 2. So now we're left with x squared minus 3x plus 2. And now we have to work on factoring out this problem. So to factor this out, we want to turn this polynomial into two different brackets multiplied by each other. So to do this, we take our lone coefficient of 2 and see the factors of it. So we have 2, and 2 is a prime numbers, so the only factors of 2 are 1 and itself, because 1 times 2 gives us 2. But we also know that negative 1 times negative 2 also gives us positive 2. So we have two different sets of factors, positive 1 and positive 2, and negative 1 and negative 2. Using these two sets of factors, we need to see which one of these add together to give us our middle term of negative 3. Well, 1 plus 2 gives us positive 3, and negative 1 plus negative 2 gives us negative 3. So that means we're going to have to use our negative 1 and negative 2 because those two add together to equal our middle term. So now we're going to use negative 1 and negative 2 to split up this middle term. So we will write it as x squared minus 1x minus 2x plus 2. See how we replace this negative 1 and negative 2 by our negative 3x. So now that we have these two different variables for our negative 3x, we're going to break it into different brackets. We'll have x squared minus x, and that'll be all in brackets, and then we're going to add that to negative 2x plus 2. Now we have two different sets of brackets. Working with these two different sets of brackets, let's first factor out the greatest common factor of our first bracket. Well, that would be our x. So let's take out an x. When we take out an x from x squared minus x, we're left with x minus 1. And now looking at our second brackets, the greatest common factor would be negative 2. So let's take out a negative 2. So when we take out a negative 2, we're left with x minus 1. And as we can see, these two brackets are the same, both of x minus 1. So you know that you did your factoring correctly if you get two of the same brackets at the end. So now that we both have x minus 1, we can now factor this out. And when we factor out an x minus 1, we're just left with x and minus 2. So our final answer is x minus 1 times x minus 2. Now we can double check this by using our distribution laws and multiplying these two brackets together to see if we get our original answer of x squared minus 3x plus 2.